You want to talk to me now? Okay. Nhung, where are you? Which city are you in? Are you in the hometown, right?
Yes, just me.
Okay. So, which is your hometown? Where?
Long An province.
Long An. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? So, are the students still sleeping? Except Nhung, everybody are still sleeping? Okay. You smile, Hương. And it seems that it's cold where you are.
I'm in London province right now.
Okay, and how's the weather there?
It's too cold.
Oh.
How about you?
I'm still in Ho Chi Minh City and the weather is good, but next week I will be in a place where it is colder than in your place.
Yes.
Next week I'm gonna travel to my hometown and I will teach there, so I guess you will see me in a thick coat.
This is Hue City. This is Hue province.
Yes.
Province.
Yeah. Yes. Hue City. And anyone else? We can see Nhi. Where are you?
Actually, I live in Bình Dương province.
Yes. So, weather in the southern cities are still good.
Yes.
Yeah. The weather around this time is quite ideal. Okay? It's not too hot and not too cold. And Ying, where are you? Where is it? I just see your forehead. I don't see your face. Okay. Where's your hometown? Okay, Bình Thuận. So Bình Dương, Bình Thuận, the weather is good. Oh yeah, Bình Thuận is windy and rainy, right? It's rainy. It's cold. That is why many people wants to live in Ho Chi Minh City, although it's quite polluted. When you enjoy the fresh air in your hometown, you have to suffer from the cold weather as well. Okay, so what do you think we are gonna learn in this course? Public speaking. Everybody, let's wake up. Besides Nhi, Nhung, Hương, and Nhiên. If you can't turn on your camera, you can still speak because it's time for class, and we need to hear your voice. For other course, I don't know whether you can turn on your camera, whether you put your camera in a good position. But for this course, it is very necessary that you can position your camera in a good way. For example, you have to speak to other people, and you know what? It's important that the listener can hear you and can see you, especially your face and your gestures. Okay. People don't want to see your forehead only. People don't want to see a speaker with a background very messy, very dark. That is very important when you give a speech online. For this course, you're going to have two parts. The first part we will do online, and the second part, it is expected that we will do it on site. Okay, in person, face to face, in class after that holiday, and hopefully you can have the okay. Actually, you can have you should have the notification early so that you can book your ticket to come to Ho Chi Minh early and easier. Okay, Hoa, it's a pity that you. Okay. It's a pity. Okay, and I hope you will get better soon. Now let's get started with the course. And for this course, you need to speak, you need to look at the screen, you need to look at the audience, and you need to make it very clear. Okay? The course name's public speaking. So, I would like you to share some of your understanding and thinking. Just share with me whatever you know. Now I will send you a link, okay, and you will tell me what you think first. Okay, so Padlet.com. Can you see the link on in the meeting chat? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you click to the link, you can answer the questions, and there are two ways that you can answer: type, or you can even, okay, I will share you my screen. You can even add a comment or an answer by speaking, and I love that you can speak. You can add. Okay, here it is. So here, you can see my screen, right? Now, if I add a comment or question and an answer, you see, this is the link. Sorry, not link. Upload, take a photo, link. Okay, here it is. If you choose the three dots, let's see here. Someone is turning on. Okay, now audio recorder. Can you see? So for audio recorder, if you want to answer orally, you can say, so in my opinion, public speaking is blah, 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 and then you stop, and then you can listen again, or you can save. Okay. So if I save this, I will publish, and then you can see my answers, and you can hear my answer as well. Besides that, so in my opinion, can also public speaking is blah, blah, record a video, not only audio but also a video, right? So you can either do it by typing, by record your voice, or record your video. Please type your names if you want. Okay, it's optional.
Oratory. Oration.
Public speaking, also called oratory or oration, has traditionally meant the act of speaking face-to-face to a live audience.
Okay, just tell me what you think. Don't be afraid. We just need to check your thinking first. When this book was, when this course was designed, the teachers just planned to teach you about giving a speech in public in real in a real place, kind of person to person in person on site. We have never thought of asking you or teaching you how to deliver speech online. We have never thought of the situation where the pandemic occurs and sometimes we need to give a presentation online. But now, I think we need to get familiar with it more, and we need to add something more to our course, as for example, making videos to deliver speech online. Okay, thank you for sharing many ideas. Okay. You have got many good ideas. They are correct, right? Okay. We even have a picture. All right. Anyone's typing? Still typing? Okay. So we can check your ideas and wait for the others to finish their answers. So the first one, public speaking is the art. Yeah, it is the art, right? Of speaking to a group of people in a well-prepared manner in order to inform, influence, or amuse the audience. So you see, when we say the art of speaking, okay, we need to learn about this art to a group of people in a well-prepared manner. So well-prepared manner is different when we have a conversation with someone, right? When we have a conversation, we just speak to them. Sometimes we think of something, we talk to them very spontaneously, and they reply, and we listen to their questions and we reply very spontaneously. But for public speaking, it is required us to be well prepared. And when we deliver a speech, we have always need to identify a purpose. Why? You need to ask yourself the questions. Why do you need to speak to them? Or why do the listeners need to listen to you? What is the purpose? What benefits can they have to sit and listen to you? Why do they have to spend, for example, 5 minutes sitting there watching you saying something? Is it beneficial or is it a waste of time? So we need to answer the questions why. Okay, we need to inform. When I listen to your presentation, I have some information. Okay, you inform me, right? You give me some pieces of information, inform. You want to influence people. You want people to make a change. They're having some bad habits, so you can tell them the reason why they need to make a change. You want to influence them, for example. Or sometimes you should listen to me because I'm gonna tell you some jokes and that will make you feel fun, right? Amuse the audience. So these are some purposes of public speaking. Okay. Next one, Hoa said, public speaking is the process of speaking to a few or many people, right? With the purpose of informing, motivating, persuading. Yeah, we have the purpose of persuading, educating, or entertaining the listeners. That's correct. So all the times, public speaking always have a purpose. All right. Public speaking is also called oratory or oration. It has traditionally meant the act of speaking face to face to a live audience. Okay, to a live audience, but things have it was traditionally. Now, actually, people have made many thousands of videos online, and we don't have live audience. The audience just watch the videos whenever they want or whenever it's convenient for them. So public speaking nowadays, we have two types of public speaking: face-to-face public speaking and virtual public speaking. If you type the word virtual public speaking, you can have a lot of results online. Okay, so public speaking is standing and speaking in front of everybody, okay, about something. Now, not only standing, but also sitting in front of your computer and talk to the lens of the camera. Not talking to the computer, talk to the lens of the camera in the computer. You know what? When you talk and you try to look at the lens of the camera, people will feel that you're looking at them. You're not looking at the paper to read beside you. For example, you have a topic and you need to present to the teacher or to your friends, and you have a kind of paper, and you just turn your face and turn your head this way and read it. No, you should avoid this when you do it online. You should look at the lens of the camera in the computer. Viết nghe xe basically is a presentation that's given live before an audience, and speaker can cover a wide variety of different topics. That's right, we have many topics such as business, education, and the public area. Khánh Hòa, President Ho Chi Minh read the Declaration of Independence to establish the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. So that is an example. That's correct. It's a great speech talking to thousands of people, right? Stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy is also, if you watch many of them on YouTube, right? Maybe on Facebook, you can have fun with them, and you can see the way they stand in front of a lot of people. They pace their voice. Sometimes they speak very, very slowly. Sometimes they do it quick, and sometimes they shout, and sometimes they whisper. Okay, so that the audience can pay attention to them. And they tell people jokes. They use language. They use words to make fun for people. Stand-up comedy. Khánh Hoa said, what do we need to make public speaking? Public speaking attracts opportunities, and public speaking can change your mindset. That's right. So now, if you listen to some famous people's talk, okay, you may learn something from them. You may gain knowledge, and sometimes their speech can change your life. Public speaking meant the added process of making speeches in public. Yeah, so it is the act and process of making speeches. So we have public speaking, speech, okay? These words can be used interchangeably. If you look at the photo that your friends add here, you can see it's not only a talk where you stand in front of a crowd. It can be talking to a group of people in your company. All right. Some examples like reports, like in the picture, right? Introducing speaker, delivering toast, and so on. You see, some people in Western countries, when their children have a wedding, the parents usually feel very nervous when they have to prepare a speech to talk not only with the guests but also with their daughter or son who is at that time a bride or groom. They need to make a speech that tell about how much they love their children and how thankful they are to the guests that comes to the wedding party. So that is also a kind of public speaking. Okay. Or now we have a party and everybody is, before they enjoy the meals together, enjoy the music and the dance together, there will be a representative who will come to the stage and deliver a toast, say something about the reason why we are having a party, why we need to celebrate, why we are celebrating now, for example. So it is delivering a toast. Okay, and after the speech, people usually hold their glass and say cheers to enjoy enjoy the party. The other, speaking to a group of people, that's right, in a well-prepared manner. Okay, we have it there, right? The same idea. Public speaking also also the same. Today it includes any form of speaking, formally and informally, to an audience, including pre-recorded speech delivered over great distance by means of technology. Yeah, so things have changed. In the past, we have only face-to-face speech, but now we also have pre-recorded speech like videos, and many people can watch it if they are posted on the internet. So public speaking is important because, let's say your friend says, okay, are you still looking at the, okay, I will share the screen in case you're not, okay. Public speaking is important because over the year, public speaking in communication has played a major role in education, government, and business. Words have power to inform, persuade, educate, and even entertain. And the spoken word can be more powerful than the written word in the hands of the right speaker. Okay, we will talk about this later. Your friend says the words written and the word spoken, and your friend says the word spoken is more powerful. Okay, in the hands of the right speaker. It means in the hand of a skillful speaker, right? When you're a small business owner or student, you benefit from improving your public speaking skills. Some benefits to speaking skill include improved confidence, better research skill, stronger deductive skill, ability to advocate cause, and more. So actually, one of the examples for public speaking are the presentation you were asked to make during the courses you took in the last semesters. Okay, you took a course in teaching methodology and the teacher asked you to make a presentation. That is a public speaking activity. Okay. Now, public speaking is this is also the same like the previous answer, right? Now, do's. What should we do? We need to prepare the speech, research your audience, think beyond words, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Okay, good ideas. Some of examples: giving opinions, suggestion in office, meeting, or group discussion sessions. So sometimes we work in a team or in a project, and we need to share and discuss the ideas together, right? Public speaking is the art of speaking face to face to a live audience, the same idea of the previous one. Who said public speaking is an activity you stand in front of people? Okay, the stand, not only stand now, but also sit. What is public speaking? Okay, so you have the same idea. Workshop, meeting, report, conference. No, don't read your speech. That's correct. There are several reasons why this could be disastrous. You may bore the audience. So if you see someone holding like a phone and read like this, okay, or someone's holding a piece of paper and read, it can be online or on site, the audience will feel very bored. Not only read the phone or the paper, sometimes when you are in class, you may look at the computer screen. You may look at the screen on the projector, okay, the LCD screen in your class, and that will bore the audience, because what will the audience think? I can still read it. I don't need you to be there and read it for me. Okay, I can read it faster than you. Your reading is not good. Your pronunciation is not good, so don't read it. I can read it myself. You will almost certainly not succeed in getting their attention. If you just read, you cannot pay attention to the audience. You will never make eye contact. Okay, the board is behind me, and I need to turn my back and look at the board so I can make eye contact with the audience. I don't know what they are thinking, how they are feeling, and you are at risk of mumbling or failing to speak clearly. So don't read. Don't talk too fast. Don't talk too fast or too slow. Okay, people cannot hear you, and they don't know what method is important, what should be emphasized. Okay, you talk very fast or too slow, and you make people feel very, very bored. Okay, too fast is not good. Too slow is not good either. Read from the slide. No. Use I will. Okay, use a lot of other future words will also make the audience feel bored, and they feel that you are not well prepared. You are not worth listening. Okay, people will ask themselves, why do I have to sit here and listen to that kind of speaker? They are not prepared. They are not confident with what they are speaking. So should I sit here and listen to you? Fidget. It means your fingers are doing some actions which shows that you are not confident. Okay, like you do this on the podium. If you have a podium in your suite, you will use your fingers just to like you hold a pen and you do it all the times. No. Okay. And number 5, pace. I don't really understand the word pace here. We will work on it later. And Lang has a very, very long answer for every question, for every idea there. And Lang said public speaking is standing in front of a bunch of people and tell them something. For example, oral report in grade school. Oral report? Who report? To whom? In grade school. Proposal at work. That's correct. Public speaking is important because every time you speak in public, it increases your self-confidence. Okay. The more you do it, okay, the more confident you will become. You will get familiar with it. You will learn a lesson after delivering a speech. And next time you can do it better. You can reach a large audience in a shorter time than having individual conversation. Yes, the information is given to a lot of people at the same time. It's great to show how much you know about the subject. A public speaking skill of an individual gives an impression of the company. So that is very important skill of people in this century, in this era. If you are not confident in public speaking, you don't have a good opportunity to have a good job in the future. And I will tell you this. Becoming a teacher is also need good public speaking skill. Why? When you teach in a class, you also need to stand in front of a lot of people. They are just small. They can be kids, teenagers, but sometimes your learners can be adults. Your learners vary in ages, in experience, in social positions. Okay, don't consider your students kids only. And for your job as a teacher, public speaking skill is also very necessary. You should speak in a way that attracts the students' attention. Make them interested in your lessons. Okay? And have them remember what they need to remember. Have them understand what still not clear with them. And one more thing. When you become an employee in a company, or when you become an interpreter, okay, you also need this skill. Okay. Sometimes it's important that you stand next to a very important person who cannot speak English, and you interpret what they are saying. In that case, you need to pay attention to yourself as well. Your voice, how you can deliver the message in English or in Vietnamese in a successful way, as intended by the speaker. All right. So in your job, especially you are a language learner, and in the future your work is related to using the language. So this skill is very necessary. Every work needs these skills nowadays, but especially for you who will work with language. Now, you are listening to me very clearly. Why? Because we are using the headphones. We have the speakers, and this helps me to speak. Sometimes I need to speak very softly, but you can still hear me because the microphone helped me. However, in a class, imagine we have a big class of 45 students, and you stand in the front of the class. If you speak without any microphone and your voice is low, I can assure that only 3 or 4 lines of students sitting in the front can hear what you say. How about the others who are sitting at the back rows of the class? They hear something, they miss something. They can't connect what they hear at first and what they hear later when they miss the middle. They can't hear the middle piece of information. They just hear the first part and the third part. They can't connect it. They can't match them together. They can't understand because they can't hear you. They are at the back of the class. Oh my. So in that case, they give up. No, I'm not going to hear anymore. I'm not going to listen anymore. I think I should find something else to do. So the student at the back of the class may take out another book of another course. They may take out the phones and start to do something else. Because I can't hear what the speaker is saying. One of the advantages of doing speech online is that people can hear you very clearly, no matter how far you are away from the listener. Okay, just make sure that there are not so many disturbance, so many noise around you. You don't have to shout. You don't have to take a microphone, and your hand is not busy holding the microphone in front of your mouth. But you have to take care of this when you do the speech on site. Okay. You should get familiar to two types of speaking: on the video, online, and on site. When you do it online, you need to look. Okay, your eyes need to look at the lens of the camera. You need to sit in a way that people can see your face, can see your gesture, use your hands like this. But when you do it in person, face to face, you need to use your voice in a clear way. You need to use your computer and the projector in a way that you don't hide them behind your back. You need to choose a good position to stand, and you need to stand in a way that shows your confidence. So there are many things we need to learn, right? The public speaking skill of an individual gives impression of a company. It will give your company an impression of how confident you are, how fluent and how well prepared and how professional you are. Sometimes when you go to a job interview, people will ask you to make a speech to very simple, talk about yourself, talk about your education, about your plan, about your future career. Now, can you make a short presentation, introduce about yourself? In that case, you need to show them, you need to impress them with your presentation. And good public speaking sparks innovation and opportunities. And I'm sure that if you have good speaking skill, public speaking skill, you will have more opportunity for promotion. Okay? Now, what should we do? Your friend says we should organize the thoughts and materials in an ordered way, right? What we should say first, next, after that, in a logical order so that the audience can understand. They know what should remember, what should be remembered, what are the examples, what are the main ideas. Okay, you should practice and prepare your speech. You should watch your facial expressions and body language in front of the mirror. That's right. It's talking about prepare, right? You should record yourself and get used to your voice and speaking style. Deliver your speech to another person. If you have a friend, if you can do it in front of your friends, and your friend will tell what impression they have after listening to your speech. Do some deep breathing and stay hydrated before speaking. Okay, drink a cup of water, a glass of water, and take a deep breath before starting your speech. Okay, to gain confidence. Maintain a confident mindset. Pick the right words to impart your message, and maintain positive eye contact. No, don't fidget nervously in front of people. Your fingers are doing something and it shows that you are nervous. Make your movements and gesture purposefully. Why do I use my hand like this? Why do I do use my hand like this? What does it mean? Every move of the hands, every move of the body should have a message. Okay. Why do I sit? Why do I stand? Why do I move to the end of the class? For example, stick your hands in your pockets. No, don't, right? Don't put your hands in your pockets. Hook your thumbs under your belt or engage in other creative diversions. Talk too fast or too slow is not good either. Okay, so actually these ideas can be, okay, you have many ideas this morning, and I believe that you can have these ideas from your own experience, or you can find it very easily online. So for this course, we are not going to talk too much about we're not going to talk too much about theories. You can find theories everywhere. You can find lessons to learn. You can find experience on giving a public speaking online. Experience are shared everywhere online. Just go to YouTube, just go to Google and search for the keywords such as public speaking, online public speaking, tips for giving a speech, for example, and you can have a bunch of advice and examples. You can learn from them. What we are going to do in this course is to practice. We are going to deliver speeches and talk about the good points and points that you need to improve for your presentation. It's a pity that the class is too crowded, right? So we don't have enough time to listen to every student in every class. We need to separate it, but we will talk about it later. So what do I have on my, let me see. I will tell you something about, I will tell you something about the course first. Now let's get started with the course. Okay, I will share you my PowerPoint. Let's see what we have here. Here you are. So we have 30 periods for the course, not too much. 2 periods a week. And the objectives of the course is to help you understand the standard structure of a public speech. Of course, after you finish the course, you can make changes, you can create, you can have more creation for your speech. But first we talk about a standard structure. We will practice appropriate physical messages and design good slides on the PowerPoint presentation. The third objective of the course is to improve your self-confidence. You will have to try to have fluency when speaking in public. When you stand in front of people and talk, you need to be fluent and confident. Ideas. Okay, when you learn in this course, you will learn how to connect ideas together to make a logical presentation. And there will be one assignment in which you need to work in group. And hopefully you know how to work in group to perform good public speeches. This is the main course book of our course, Speaking of Speech. There are 8 units in the book. And the first one, we will talk about posture and eye contact. Unit 2, gestures. Unit 3, voice inflection. So posture and eye contact, gesture and voice inflections are about our body language. All right. Unit 4 and Unit 5 talk about what you show in the PowerPoint. Effective visuals and explaining visuals. You put a lot of information on the slide. Sometimes I find that you put up to 3, 4, or 5 pictures on the same slide for the same purpose, because I find you find the pictures beautiful or interesting, and you can easily find the pictures on the internet. So on one slide you put a lot of pictures there. But why? You put 5 pictures, and then you need to click your mouse 5 times to make them all appear on the slide. It really takes time and energy without any purpose. Why? Why do we need to put so many pictures with so many clicks? Is it necessary? Do the 5 pictures have 5 ideas or the same one? For example, okay? So Unit 4 and Unit 5 will talk about what you put there. And do you mention and do you explain the information you put on the slides? Or you just wanted just to show them and click so that it moves without mentioning anything about them? Okay. Unit 6, Unit 7, and Unit 8 will talk about the structure of a presentation from the beginning to the body and the end of a talk, of a speech. Okay, so these are the content of the book. I hope we still have time to talk about online presentation. This book does not mention anything about online presentation, but I hope we still have time to learn something about experience of great speakers when they do online presentations. Maybe you want to become a YouTuber. You review a product. You are very interested in cosmetic, and you want to become a YouTuber, right? So how can you do that? Okay, to tell the truth, I'm not good at that either. I can't talk very fluently, very confidently in public. And I believe I'm not talented to become a YouTuber, but you may, if you have a passion and now you learn the skills, I believe you can do that. We have some further reference book if you have time, but I don't think reading books is a good idea. The reference, in my opinion, is to learn from other speakers' speeches. Watch their videos. Learn how they pace their voice, how they use gestures, how they emphasize the information, and watch them. Don't read theories only. Okay. Now, as I told you, the objectives, they are the same, similar to the outcomes. So at the end of the course, you are expected to speak fluently and confidently on social academic topics. Now, for the first outcomes, this is what difficult for you. You are not going to present in a language you are familiar with. English is not familiar with many of you. You can't arrange words very quickly in your head so that you can speak them out. You need time to arrange the words, which go first, which comes after, and because you are not familiar with English is not your mother tongue. So, if you want to speak fluently, the only way is to be well prepared and to practice as much as possible before your speech. Don't wait until the last day to prepare. And for example, tomorrow you need to give a speech. The teacher asks you to give a speech on Wednesday, and the night of Tuesday you prepare the slides, and after you shut up your computer and you go to bed. And tomorrow you just need to look at the computer and read what you have prepared the night before. No, it's not about public speaking. You need to practice. You need to speak, to feel whether it sounds okay, whether it sounds confident or fluent. And for important speeches, you need to speak in front of someone to give you comments and feedback. If the speech is important. Do you know TED Talks? People in TED Talks do need to prepare, and they need to ask for a lot of feedback from many people before they can deliver a talk in TED Talks. Okay, you can produce clear, well-structured, detailed presentation on PowerPoint presentation, and you conduct good work performance. They are the learning outcomes. Now, course assessment. There will be 20% for regular test. As I told you, there will be a group work activity. So the group work is that you will make a video clip. Okay, you will make a video clip. Can you still see the slides? Okay. Okay. Where is it? Okay, a video clip. This is work. And class assignment. Class assignment is done throughout the course. For example, this week we talk about a topic, and next week everybody in the class prepare a speech. I will call some of you randomly. It means everybody in the class has to prepare a speech on that topic, and I will not tell you who will be called the week after that. Everybody has to prepare a speech. Okay, so for the class assignment, we will do it throughout the course. start. Midterm. For the midterm test, you're going to work in group as well, and you're going to compare and contrast two products or two countries. All right. And for the final test, you're going to give individual presentation on given topics. So all of them are done orally. Okay, we don't have any written test. You can learn more information on these websites like Toastmaster International, TED Talks, or Ignite. These are just some examples. What you need is to go to YouTube or another social website and search for the keywords of public speaking, online public speaking, etc. Okay. Now, again, public speaking is what? It is a process of presenting a message to an audience, and the audience can be small or large. Public speaking is different from conversation? Yes, it is, right? What's the difference? When you make a speech, you have to prepare. You need to be well prepared. But in conversation, spontaneously, we do not know what our partner will say or will ask us. Okay, we don't have any preparation, particularly. So presentation is more well prepared. It's more formal, and it's more clearly defined roles for a speaker and audience. In a conversation, everybody is the same. Some people talk, some people listen, sometimes people talk at the same time. The roles are not clear, but in public speaking, it's clear. You are defined as a speaker, and the people will listen to you. Now, when you do the public speaking, remember to consider the audience. Okay, you consider the audience so that you can select and narrow the topic. Now, I ask you to compare two products. And now, the audience are students. They are the classmates in your class. They are students. So are you going to review two products of Gucci or expensive brands? Or will you review two products which are very familiar with them and kind of cosmetic products, and the girls are very interested in? Now, you're going to compare two places. You're gonna recommend two places for your friends to travel in their holidays. So are you gonna introduce a 5-star resort? Or are you gonna introduce a hostel where it is cheap and your friends can go there together for a holiday trip? Okay, consider the audience to choose an appropriate topic. Okay? Consider the audience to determine the purpose. Why? Why should I sit here? Why should I sit in the class to listen to your presentation? Is there anything interesting? Determine the purpose. Okay. Develop central idea. What's the central idea? And how you develop into smaller idea. Generate main ideas. Gathering supporting material. Organize speech. rehearse speech, deliver speech. Okay, so they are the preparation steps from choosing topics to deliver a speech. During those steps, you need to consider the audience all the time. Hey, I'm talking about a topic. Okay, so this is a topic. I'm gonna tell them about scientific results. Do they know about this? Is it is it easy for them to understand what I'm saying if I use professional vocabularies, the experts' words, numbers, percentages? Can they understand what I'm saying? Consider the audience. And remember that you are a speaker, right? You are also a listener. Imagine if you are a listener. How will you feel? Is it easy for you? Is it interesting for you to listen to the speech? You are a listener as well. And you know the topic clearer than anyone else in the room. Try to feel how the listeners will feel. Okay? Okay, now why is public speaking? Why do we need to learn this course? I have done many speeches in many classes before. Speaking, I did it in speaking, I did in syntax, I did it in teaching methodology. I knew how to make public speaking. Why do I need to learn this course? And in the future, why do I need this skill? Okay. Some people say, pay more for person ability to speak and express himself than for any other quality he might possess. So, public speaking or speaking ability to express yourself is a criteria which is very high evaluated. If you have the ability to speak in public, maybe you can be a representative of your company. Next week, our language center needs to go to a school to introduce about our new courses. Okay, we have developed new courses, English courses for students. And we want to attract a lot of students for our language center. Now, who volunteers to go to that high school and introduce them about our courses? Who can go there and make a speech, make it clear and persuade them to join our course at our language center? Who can? Okay, it will give you opportunities. Now, some examples that you have done is the class projects. Next semester, next year, or maybe some of you at the end of this academic year, you're gonna give an internship presentation, a graduation presentation. And sometimes when you, after graduation, you need to give a job presentations. But very, very immediate, you're gonna give an internship or graduation presentation, and they are very important for you. Sometimes you join an event, a meeting, and you need to say something to people there. Okay. Sometimes you need to make a speech at a family gathering. such as wedding, birthday, anniversary, etc. To talk about the reasons why we are holding the party. We want to thank people, and sometimes we want to tell them a story, etc. Now, if you have public speaking skill, you have empowerment and employment. They are your opportunities. The language, public speaking is the language that leaders need to have. How you talk to employees, how you talk to the people in your team to persuade them to do this for you, how you ask them to try their best, how you motivate them to finish their task and not to make them feel discouraged or feel less confident, how you can make them to focus on their work and to try the best for the company. Not just to come to the company and wait for the time to check in and check out on time. It needs public speaking skill. Okay. This is a skilled public speaker will position you for greater things than other less skilled communicators, even who may have superior ideas, training, and experience. So sometimes I see my husband prepare very careful slides. He's not working in academic. He's work in telecommunication. He's an engineer. But every quarter, it means every 3 months, he needs to give a report on what his team has done, has achieved, and the plans for the next quarter or next year, for example. And I find him prepare very careful slides. And I ask, hey, why do you need to spend a lot of time preparing the slides? You are just engineers. You don't need to make it colorful. Why do you need to consider the fonts, the colors of the words? Move this a little bit right, a little bit left, and it takes him a lot of time. And I asked him that, and he told me that he need to impress not only the leaders but also his employees. Okay, employees, especially in the first 3 slides. Okay, he told me that the first 3 slides are very important. He needs to make it neat. He needs to make sure that the slides are effective. And then I see him practice speaking. He's fluent in English, but sometimes he thinks that he cannot arrange ideas very logically, so he needs to practice. Okay, he knows what he's saying. He knows what he has done in the past 3 months, but he needs to be prepared for his speech at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year, for example. And sometimes he needs to work with a client, like a potential client who the company wants to make a contract with. So he needs to prepare some information to introduce about the company, about the projects he's working on. He needs to introduce the clients, how strong his team is, Okay, so he needs to give the clients kind of presentation. And in the future, if you want to have high positions in a company, if you want to be leaders, public speaking will empower you. It will give you the power. And employment. Public speaking will give you jobs, good jobs. If you speak well, you possess skills that others will value highly, such as how to transfer information to listeners, how to organize your ideas, how to persuade others, how to hold listeners' attention. And I told you before, our jobs in the future will be teachers, interpreters, office workers, any jobs that you have to use English to speak. You need to speak well. So these are the skills that are most sought by employers, and they will give you good jobs if you have these skills. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett suggests that higher pay might be another benefit of learning public speaking. Okay? Now, this is the results of a survey. The survey of personnel director. Number one, rank number one, spoken communication skill. The survey of a college career service department. Number one, communication and interpersonal skill. Interpersonal, it means you say something and you influence other people. Okay? You make a connection with other people and you influence them. The results of survey of prospective employers, they need communication skill. Result surveys are complied from several research studies. Number one is still communication skill. Other skills comes later, like written, listening, enthusiasm, flexibility, leadership, teamwork, motivation, analytical, research skill, but communication skill is number one. Okay. So again, for this course, we're going to spend only 30 periods, but the first 2 periods we have used to talk only listening to me, right? Only. What will we do next? Okay, you just, if you want to have a visit to these websites, you can take notes, bbc.co.uk, Toastmaster, or I can send this to you on the materials of Teams, okay, if you want. They are very easy to find. Now, let's watch a video clip introducing the book that we are going to cover in this course. Sorry, I haven't shared the sound, so I need to share again. Okay, here you are. This is about the book.
Welcome to the new edition of Speaking of Speech. In this short video, we'd like to answer 3 questions. First, what is the speaking of speech approach? And second, what's in the text? And third, what's on the DVD? Let's take a look at our first point.
Presentation is a very sophisticated communicative activity. How can we make this more manageable for our students?
The speaking of speech approach is to divide presentation into 3 messages. The physical message, which includes posture, eye contact, gestures, and voice inflection. The visual message, which includes both making and explaining visuals. And finally, the story message, which includes the introduction, body, and conclusion.
The speaking of speech approach divides presentation into 3 messages, and then further divides each message into bite-sized skills. It gives both the teacher and the student a very simple, clear format to work from. This brings us to our second point.
For each presentation skill, speaking of speech identifies common problems, offers solutions, and gives examples.
Speaking of speech really gets good results because it gives practical solutions to problems that beginners have.
Over the years, teachers have asked us if we knew of any sample speeches that students could watch and emulate. Well, we couldn't find any that suited the levels, the needs, and the interests of our students. So, we decided to make our own, which brings us to our final point.
The DVD contains 8 episodes, each featuring a different kind of speech. Episode 1 features an informative speech, where the speaker uses a simple quadrant as a graphic organizer.
What's there to see? Second, what's there to do? Third, what's there to eat? And fourth, getting around the Portland area.
Jimmy emphasizes the main teaching point of the episode and gives advice to the students for their presentations.
Specific information is valuable information. Second, remember to have fun in your speaking of speech, informative speech. Have a great speech.
I really love the Speaking of Speech DVD. The examples are colorful, fun, and easy to understand.
We'd like to close with a personal message. Today, the world faces many challenges.
Climate change, overpopulation, wars.
We don't claim to know the answers.
But we do know how the answers will be found.
Through better communication that comes from better presentation, better debate, and better discussion.
Join us.
Help us.
Be part of the solution.
Speaking of speech.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, this book was released a long time ago. In education, it is expected that we should change the the books every 4 years or every 8 years. But for this course and for the courses of English language teaching methodologies, we use the same book for many courses, many years. We haven't changed it because we find this book clear and easy to follow. So besides the theory in this book, besides the videos we can watch included in this book, we can learn further information in reference book and online sources. Okay. So there's something about the course. Let me continue a little bit more. So we move to this slide. Okay. As you have watched the videos, we will have 3 messages in the book. In a presentation. The physical method talk about posture, eye contact, gestures, and voice inflection. The second one is visual method, and the third one is the story message. So when we make a speech, we give the audience 3 messages. They got the message. They got the information from our facial expression, visual method, and the story method. Which one do you think is more important? It's the physical, the visual, and the story method. Which one is more important? I will share with you one interesting book that I'm checking their translation. Cô đang là một cái dự án, không phải dự án mà cô đang join vào một cái hoạt động gọi là dịch sách và kiểm tra sau khi mà người ta dịch sách á, thì có một cuốn sách tình cờ nó cũng trùng hợp vào cái thời điểm này là cô đang đọc bông trong cái ngành xuất bản sách, thì có nghĩa là sau khi mà người ta dịch xong á là cô phải kiểm tra coi là cái ngôn ngữ họ dùng có phù hợp không, hoặc là họ dịch đã chuẩn xác hay chưa. Thì cái cuốn sách mà cô đang đọc bông này á, nó cũng có cái thú vị là trùng hợp tại thời điểm này là nó, cô share màn hình luôn, là nó rất là trùng hợp với cái môn học của mình. Cuốn sách này vẫn đang trong quá trình dịch. Sorry, để cô. Okay. Thì tốt. Hôm qua cô đọc đến một cái đoạn này và nó có cái thú vị ở chỗ cái này thì trong những cái lần dạy trước cô cũng có nói, nhưng mà tại vì nó được nhắc tới rất là nhiều trong cuốn sách này. Các bạn thấy là ví dụ như những cái chỗ mà cô cảm thấy không có ổn thì cô sẽ comment như thế này, thì họ sẽ review lại. Thì ở đây đến một cái đoạn như thế này, trang 7 mấy cô chút xíu. Đây, ok, trang này. Các bạn sẽ thấy một cái quy luật có tên là quy luật 7, 38 và 55. Cái này mà nếu mà trong cái môn public speaking thì những cái lần trước cô hay vẽ ra một cái pie chart, một cái biểu đồ hình bánh để cho các em hình dung rõ hơn. Thì ở đây dịch tiếng Việt luôn cho các em hiểu, cô cũng đang có cái phiên bản tiếng Anh. Ok. Ở đây mình gọi là 738-55 rule. Thì theo nghiên cứu của giáo sư Albert vào những năm 60 thì phát hiện của ông là gì? Những phát hiện của ông về việc truyền đạt cảm xúc thái độ như chấm năm cũng thừa nhận là bị hiểu sai. Kết quả của thí nghiệm có mục tiêu cụ thể của ông được dùng để củng cố cho quy luật phổ biến. Okay, các bạn thấy không? Ví dụ như ở đây cô đọc chưa check những cái chỗ này. Phổ biến có tên là quy luật 7, 38 và 55. Thì quy luật này là như thế nào? Quy luật này định lượng tác động tương đối của giao tiếp ngôn ngữ và phi ngôn ngữ lên quá trình giao tiếp của hai người, hoặc là cái này cũng có thể áp dụng trong public speaking luôn á mấy em. Trong đó thì khi mà mình nói á, hồi nãy mình có chia ra là physical message là những cái mà từ trên cái ngôn ngữ cơ thể của mình gọi là phi ngôn ngữ em. Rồi cái visual là những cái chúng ta trình chiếu trên PowerPoint, rồi mới đến là cái ngôn ngữ. Thì ngôn ngữ ở đây là người ta ghi là chiếm 7%, ngữ điệu là chiếm 38%, và ngôn ngữ cơ thể là chiếm 55%. Vậy thì nếu mà chúng ta cộng hai cái con số là 38 và 55, ok, chúng ta suy ra là ai cũng có thể hiểu được 93% ngoại ngữ. Mình học tiếng Anh để làm gì? Hiểu được 93% ngoại ngữ chỉ bằng cách lắng nghe và quan sát người đối diện. Cả bạn và tôi đều biết điều đó không thể xảy ra được. Quy tắc 7, 38 và 55 trên thực tế chỉ mang tính chất tham khảo. Bạn không cần phải lắng nghe và hiểu mọi từ để cuộc giao tiếp diễn ra trước mắt, đúng không? Để mà hiểu được cái cuộc giao tiếp mình đang diễn ra là nó mang ý nghĩa gì. Thì trong một nhà hàng đông đúc, bạn có thể dễ dàng nhận ra những cặp đôi đang tận hưởng bữa tối lãng mạn, cũng như những cặp vợ chồng có vẻ như sắp chia tay. Mình không có cần phải nghe được cái từ ngữ họ nói là cái gì, nhưng mà nếu chúng ta quan sát về biểu cảm, về khuôn mặt, về cái hành động họ có đang dịu dàng với nhau hay là họ đang đấm bàn đấm ghế chẳng hạn, thì chúng ta có thể nhận ra cái message, cái thông điệp, đúng không? Thì nghiên cứu này mình chỉ hiểu ở một cái mức tương đối, và có những cái người thì họ hay nhào nặng, truyền đạt sai, diễn đạt sai và hay biến tấu nó, hiểu sai nó đi. Các giảng viên, người huấn luyện về kỹ năng thuyết trình ủng hộ sự sai lệch này, vì nó có vẻ như chứng minh một cách mạnh mẽ quan điểm rằng chuyển động cơ thể, ngữ điệu và năng lượng và cảm xúc luôn là những thành phần quan trọng để giao tiếp thành công. Vì thế mà quy luật 7, 38 và 55 ra đời. Thì chúng ta sẽ hiểu là trong thực tế thì có một cái quy luật như vậy, nhưng mà chúng ta sẽ không có áp dụng nó 100%. Mình hiểu nó một cách tương đối, và ở đây một điều được nhấn mạnh là gì? Những gì bạn nói là quan trọng, nhưng mà quan trọng hơn cả là cách bạn nói. Các bạn truyền đạt cho người nghe cái năng lượng, cái cảm xúc, và các bạn involve, thu hút người nghe, rồi khiến cho họ quan tâm, chú ý, và khiến cho họ muốn là lắng nghe tiếp tục, muốn cho họ là có thể là take action, có một cái hành động nào đó dẫn đến là họ sẽ muốn tìm hiểu nhiều hơn, hoặc là sẽ thay đổi quan điểm, thay đổi hành vi, thay đổi thái độ của họ. Thì đó là điều mà public speaking muốn hướng tới. Họ nói là gì? The words you say is not important with how you say it. Mình có what và how, thì how nó quan trọng hơn what đối với những cái bài về public speaking. Đôi khi có những cái điều mà nó rất là hiển nhiên, nhưng mà có người nói thì nghe rất là boring, có người nói nghe rất là attractive và rất là persuasive, rất là thuyết phục luôn. Và những cái gọi là những cái người mà gọi là có khả năng diễn thuyết á, mình gọi là diễn giả, thì không phải là họ sinh ra là họ có cái khả năng đó liền đâu. Ai cũng cần phải tập luyện và học hỏi kỹ năng cả. Hồi nãy cô có nói mấy bạn là cho cô một vài cái ví dụ về public speaking. Thì thực ra là chúng ta còn nhiều ví dụ lắm, để cô show cho các bạn coi ha. Ngoài những cái bài thuyết trình ở trên lớp của mấy em, rồi việc Chủ tịch Hồ Chí Minh phát biểu tuyên ngôn độc lập như các bạn có chia sẻ, hoặc là chúng ta báo cáo cho công ty, thì chúng ta còn có những ví dụ này. Ví dụ là gì nào? Nếu các bạn chịu khó mà hồi xưa coi TV nhiều đúng không? Bây giờ về quê ở với gia đình rồi, và nếu nhà nào hay xem thời sự thì cũng có thể coi các cái phong thái của những cái người dẫn chương trình thời tiết. Các bạn cứ coi cái cách họ đứng, cách họ đưa tay chỉ vào cái vùng nào họ đang trình bày, cách họ đưa tay để khoanh tròn, rồi diễn đạt thời nhiệt độ lên xuống, thì đó chính là họ đang make a public speech. Cách họ để tay khi không có dùng thì như thế nào. Rồi thực ra những cái mà trên cái màn hình dự báo thời tiết này á, không phải là nó xuất hiện cùng một lúc. Cách họ điều khiển cái hiệu ứng để cho cái nào xuất hiện trước, cái gì xuất hiện sau, vân vân. Okay. News report, và các bạn cũng thấy là cách chúng ta đứng là đứng một bên để cho khán giả có thể coi được những cái đang xuất hiện trên màn hình. Mình sẽ không có đứng và mình block the view, mình đứng che cái slide mình đang chiếu ở phía sau mình, cũng như là trên màn hình này thì mình sẽ đứng một bên. Okay. Thesis of graduation thesis defense. Cái này sẽ rất là gần với mấy em. Presentation in class. Mục tiêu cuối cùng là chúng ta sẽ thay đổi hình ảnh từ một cái người mà mỗi lần lên làm public speaking là sợ thì chúng ta có thể tự tin. Đối với những cái bài thuyết trình của mấy em thì sẽ có 4 tiêu chí để đánh giá. Thứ nhất là về nội dung. Nội dung các bạn phải sắp xếp nó lại cho nó logic từ những cái ý lớn, triển khai nó ra, có cho ví dụ và cách chúng ta kết nối những cái ý tưởng đó lại với nhau như thế nào. Dùng những cái từ nối, dùng những cái ngôn từ để mà cho khán giả biết là chúng ta đang nói ý thứ nhất, ý thứ hai, thứ ba, kết luận là gì. Thì cái content là người nghe sẽ nắm được, đúng không? Về performance thì chúng ta sẽ nói về effective use of gesture, eye contact, vivid language, voice to add interest to speech. Okay. First, with use of notes or for reference only. Thỉnh thoảng mình có thể cầm trên tay một cái mảnh giấy nhỏ nhỏ nhưng mà hạn chế nhìn. Thỉnh thoảng khi nào quên mình mới liếc nhìn chút xíu thôi. No oral fillers, chúng ta hạn chế là những cái từ đó, mấy cái filler đó là mình cố gắng mình bỏ đi. Hoặc là những cái non-verbal distraction như là cái việc mà vừa nói vừa vuốt tóc nè, vừa nói vừa làm cái gì đó, vừa rờ cái cánh mũi, hoặc là vừa nói vừa xoa cái tay. Những cái đó là khi mà mình làm như vậy á em, khán giả sẽ tập trung nhìn vô những cái chỗ đó. Họ không có lắng nghe mình đang nói gì thật là rõ ràng cụ thể. So cố gắng tránh những cái đó. Clear pronunciation. Ok. Thì đây là những cái và form thì nói về cái việc chúng ta thiết kế slide. Thì nó bị mất một phần. Các bạn trong lớp đối với môn này thì chúng ta cần phải tham gia đầy đủ. Ok. Bán tối đa một buổi thôi. Và cô nhắc các bạn nè, có một cái điều kiện rất là quan trọng là cái môn này á, hiện nay là phòng đào tạo đã chia ra là 2 cột điểm thường kỳ rất là rạch ròi, là cột điểm lý thuyết và cột điểm thực hành. Thì cái cột điểm thực hành của mình sẽ là cái cột điểm làm group work thường kỳ nha. Cô đang nói thường kỳ có 2 cột, thì có một cái cột thực hành nó nằm có một cái điểm nó sẽ nằm ở cột thực hành, đó là cái cột mà các em sẽ làm group work, làm video clip đó. Đối với các cột thực hành mà không điểm thì sẽ không được thi cuối kỳ. Đó là điều cô nhấn mạnh, các bạn lưu ý giùm cô nha. Trong lớp chúng ta cần be interactive, cooperative, self-practicing and respective. Không chỉ là tôn trọng không tôn trọng cô, mà là chúng ta tôn trọng lẫn nhau. Khi mà có người nói thì sẽ có người nghe. Khi mà mình lên lớp, mình sẽ không có làm ồn, không làm cho những cái bạn mà đang thuyết trình cảm thấy bị sợ hoặc là không có được supportive. Chúng ta nên support lẫn nhau khi mà chúng ta thuyết trình ha. I think we have run out of time and I need to move to another class. Buổi tới thì cô sẽ tiếp tục phần lý thuyết một chút. nữa và cô sẽ giao bài tập đầu tiên cho các bạn vào tuần thứ 3 trước khi chúng ta nghỉ Tết. Ok, so, ta xin nói